A very good morning. Well, both houses of parliament resume today after Christmas break. That's our top focus this Thursday morning in the breakfast news on Rajya Sabha television. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor and here are the headlines. Anti-triple talaq bill slated for discussion in Lok Sabha. Home Minister's statement on calling attention on cyclones listed in Rajya Sabha. Discussion on natural calamities slated in Lok Sabha. NIA to produce 10 people linked to Islamic State-linked terror outfit in a Delhi court. Agency busted the module planning suicide attacks targeting politicians and government installations in raids across Delhi and UP on Wednesday. BJP government completes a 1 year in Himachal Pradesh. Prime Minister Modi to release document highlighting achievements. At 60,713 crore, recovery against NPAs by public sector banks in first half of current year doubles compared to the last year. Former RBI Governor Bimal Jalan to head panel to fix levels of reserves for RBI. And Bhutanese Prime Minister to arrive on a 3-day visit today. People-to-people ties, economic development and hydropower cooperation to be the focus of high-level talks. Talks with the Prime Minister on Friday. Our top focus, both houses of parliament resume today after Christmas break. In the Lok Sabha, the Muslim Women Protection of Rights on Marriage Bill is scheduled to be taken up for consideration and passing. The bill proposes all declarations of instant triple talaq void and illegal. It seeks to make the practice a punishable offence with imprisonment of up to 3 years. The bill, when passed, will replace the Muslim Women Protection of Rights on Marriage Ordinance 2018. The fresh bill was introduced in Lok Sabha on 17th of December. The National Medical Council Amendment Bill 2018 has also been listed. And in the Rajya Sabha, the Trafficking of Persons Prevention, Protection and Rehabilitation Bill 2018 and 2 bills related to education sector reforms are listed for consideration and passing. The winter session that began on the 11th of this month has witnessed repeated disruptions on the issues of Rafale aircraft deal, construction of a dam across Kaveri River and financial benefits to Andhra Pradesh. And also in the Rajya Sabha today, Minister of Home Affairs is slated to make a statement in response to the calling attention motion on the issue of situation arising due to the devastation caused by cyclones Gaja and Titli in some states. The issue was raised by Dr. V. Maitriyan on the 18th of this month. The calling attention was to also know the action taken by the government with regard to the destruction. And in the Lok Sabha, a discussion under Rule 193 is slated today on natural calamities in various parts of the country, particularly in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Odisha, with special reference to cyclone Gaja and Titli. Bhatrahari Madhav and Dr. P. Venugopal are slated to initiate the discussion. Our colleague Kriti Mishra is now joining us live from Vijay Chowk. A very good morning, Kriti. So the government has listed 4 bills for discussion and voting in the Rajya Sabha today as the House reassembles after a 5-day-long break. What can we expect in the House?
Well, Aishwarya, we've seen disruptions in the House since December 12th on the issues of Rafale and also on Kaveri. Remember, these disruptions came despite repeated assurances from chairman that all issues under relevant rules would be allowed to be taken up in the House. The government had also expressed its willingness to take up all issues despite getting a clean chit on the issue of Rafale from the Supreme Court. It had said that it will discuss all the issues on the floor of the House. There have also been reports trickling in that the centre will also call the meeting of chief ministers of Tamil Nadu and Karnataka to resolve the issue of Meghdatu Dam over the Kaveri River. So now that as you've mentioned, that there are important bills lined up to be taken up in the Rajya Sabha. There's the NCTE Amendment Bill, the Right of Children to Free and Compulsory Education Amendment Bill, the Representation of People Amendment Bill, and the Anti-Trafficking Bill. So certainly an important day in the Rajya Sabha today, and let's hope that semblance of peace prevails in the House. Aishwarya?
Absolutely. And also in the Lok Sabha, Kriti, The government has listed total 5 bills for discussion and voting, and this includes 3 bills that are related to ordinance that are in force. Of course, one is related to the ordinance on banning instant triple talaq among Muslims. So can we expect a good discussion in the House on these bills?
Well, Aishwarya, this is a very crucial issue because remember the Supreme Court has banned the practice of triple talaq. It had declared triple talaq unconstitutional in August 2017 and said that this is against the fundamental rights of Muslim women. It had also asked the government to come up with a law to govern marriage and divorce in the Muslim community. Thereafter, we've seen in the earlier sessions also that the government did bring the bill, but there was no consensus in the House. And also, the government also issued an ordinance, promulgated an ordinance. Remember, even after the Supreme Court banned this practice, there have been more than 248 cases. And since January 2017, there have been more than 400 cases. We've seen in the last week that the Congress had assured the government that this bill would be taken up with the consensus of the House, and the government has also said that this is very important for justice and equity. So let's hope that this pro-women bill is taken up in the lower house today. Aishwarya?
Right, and there are also discussions slated in both houses of Parliament today. Thank you so much, Kriti, for all those updates there. We'll come back to you in the subsequent bulletin. And the issue of the proposed Mekedatu Dam on the Kaveri River has stalled Parliament proceedings last week. Now, the centre has hence decided to call a meeting of the Chief Ministers of Karnataka and Tamil Nadu ministers soon to discuss the issue. The proposed dam project in Mekedatu in Karnataka is being opposed by Tamil Nadu, which argues that it will affect its farmers. The issue was discussed in detail by Karnataka Chief Minister H.D. Kumaraswamy in a meeting with the Union Water Resources and Transport Minister Nitin Gadkari on Wednesday in Delhi. On to some other news now. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be in Himachal Pradesh today to celebrate 1 year of the BJP government in the state. He will be in Dharamshala, where he will address the Janbar rally and interact with the beneficiaries of various government schemes. The rally will be attended by State Chief Minister Jairam Thakur along with Union Health Minister J.P. Nadda and the other state BJP leaders. Prime Minister Modi will also release a document highlighting the achievements of the Himachal government. And in a message, Chief Minister Jairam Thakur said that the 1 year tenure has been successful and that the government has made efforts to benefit every section of the society by launching welfare schemes in women empowerment, self-help groups, health, irrigation and agriculture. He also said that the decision to reduce age limit for pension from 80 years to 70 years has benefited more than 1 lakh people. And the BJP has appointed in charge for 17 states for steering its campaign in the Lok Sabha polls next year. Union Minister Prakash Javadekar is appointed in charge for Rajasthan and Thawar Chand Gehlot will be responsible for the state of Uttarakhand. BJP General Secretaries Bhupender Yadav and Anil Jain are assigned the states of Bihar and Chhattisgarh. And responsibilities for the states of Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, UP, Nagaland, Manipur, Jharkhand, Punjab, Telangana have also been assigned, and in charges for West Bengal, Jammu and Kashmir, Kerala and Tamil Nadu will be announced in the coming days. On to a Rajya Sabha TV exclusive. National General Secretary of the BJP, Madhav, has said that the opposition proposed Grand Alliance is multipolar with too many leaders and too many parties and therefore a non-starter. He has added that for any alliance to be successful, you need one leader. He also added that politics is not about arithmetic alone, but chemistry as well. He said there are no permanent foes and friends, but permanent interests in politics.
Any such effort will succeed if it is anchored around a leader or a central party. The comedy or tragedy you call it with this so-called Mahagathbandhan is it doesn't have one pole. It is multipolar like the world today.
Yeah.
Too many contenders, too many parties, no anchor to bring everybody around. So good luck to them. I mean, anybody can come together and form alliances. That is what is democracy all about. But I see this whole so-called talk about Mahagathbandhan to be a non-starter. Politics is not just arithmetic ever. It's always about the chemistry also. How you build your relations with individual leaders, individual parties. In politics also, there is never like permanent enemies, permanent foes, or permanent friends for that matter. It's only permanent interests that guide you in politics.
And you can watch the full interview on Rajya Sabha television at 10 p.m. tomorrow. On to some other news now. The National Investigation Agency will produce the people arrested with suspected links to an Islamic State module in a Delhi court today. The central agency achieved a major success on Wednesday, conducting searches across the national capital and Uttar Pradesh and subsequently bursting a module of Islamic State that was allegedly planning terror attacks in Delhi and North India. Here are all the details.
In a major breakthrough, the National Investigation Agency on Wednesday uncovered an ISIS-inspired terror module. Teams conducted searches across 17 locations in Uttar Pradesh and New Delhi. In Delhi, the searches were carried out at 6 locations in Seelampur. In Uttar Pradesh, in Amroha, Hapur and Lucknow. A large quantity of explosives, a country-made rocket launcher, 100 mobiles and 135 SIM cards were recovered. NIA officials say the group was planning serial strikes in Delhi and North India. On their list of targets were several political leaders and well-known figures.
इन सर्चेस के दौरान काफ़ी बड़ी मात्रा में एक्सप्लोसिव मटेरियल मिला है, कई वेपन्स रिकवर किए गए हैं और एक कंट्री मेड रॉकेट लॉन्चर भी रिकवर किया गया है. लगभग 7.5 लाख रुपए कैश में रिकवर किए गए हैं. 100 के आसपास मोबाइल फ़ोन्स, 135 के आसपास सिम कार्ड्स, कई लैपटॉप, मेमोरी कार्ड्स और इस तरह की अलग अलग इलेक्ट्रॉनिक डिवाइसेस सीज की गई हैं.
The searches were in connection with NIA probe into the ISIS's module called Harkat-ul-Harb-e-Islam. 16 suspects were detained, 10 of them were arrested. 5 people were picked up from Amroha after a joint operation with the UP anti-terrorist squad. 5 others were arrested from Delhi.
अभी तक जो जानकारी है उसके हिसाब से एक विदेश में बैठे हुए एक हैंडलर से ये लगातार टच में थे. अदरवाइज जो ये पूरा मॉड्यूल है, इसमें जो मेन गैंग लीडर है वो मुफ्ती सोहेल है, जो दिल्ली के जाफराबाद इलाके में रहता है, लेकिन वो नेटिव है अमरोहा का और अमरोहा में एक मॉस्क में वो काम करता है और वही इस पूरे ग्रुप को डायरेक्ट कर रहा था.
NIA officials said the module was in touch with foreign handlers whose identity is yet to be established. The group was under surveillance for some time following inputs of their suspicious activities. With inputs from Ravindra Singh Sharan, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And in Breakfast News, we'll take a very short break here. We'll be right back with more news. Welcome back after the break. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley has said that further improvement in the GDP will lead to automatic creation of jobs. In an exclusive interview to All India Radio, Arun Jaitley called for the need to formalize job data for the informal job sector. On the issue of the GST, Arun Jaitley said that the challenge in meeting the stiff goods and services tax collection target was mostly from services sector rather than the manufacturing sector.
We, including myself, are not satisfied with 7.5. We'd like it to cross the 8% barrier. Once it crosses the 8% barrier, you start booming, it starts reflecting in every area of life, there's better job growth. I do believe that when the economy expands continuously, even at 7.5%, there's bound to be job creation. We must also keep in mind that India, when we in generalities talk about no job growth taking place, that there is no authentic data in India. And therefore, there is a need to have one. And in the absence of that data, we don't capture what's happening in India's informal sector. Now, if you look at our informal sector, It's the largest employer. The SME sector, it's a very large employer. We are now in the 18th month of the GST. And the target which we have set for ourselves in the states is a very stiff target. Several consuming states, Northeast in particular, have achieved that target. So that's a good sign. Several manufacturing states have either achieved it or are very close to achieving it. So about 50% of the states have either achieved it or are very close to achieving it. There are 50 which are still more than 10% away from it. Let's say 10 to 30% away from that target. But if about half the states are managing to achieve it closer to the second year, then in the third and the fourth year, I think more and more states will get into the achievements.
And the recovery by public sector banks against NPAs has doubled in the first half of the current year as compared to the same period last year. In response to a parliamentary question, the Finance Ministry has said that public sector banks reported recovery of 60,713 crore rupees against non-performing assets in the first half of the current year, which is double the amount recovered in the corresponding period last year. The government further added that more significant returns on high-value accounts are expected. And the Reserve Bank of India has constituted a 6-member expert committee to decide on appropriate size of RBI's reserves. The committee will be headed by former Governor Bimal Jalan with the former Secretary Rakesh Mohan as the Vice Chair. The Expert Committee on Economic Capital Framework will have to give its report within 90 days from its first meeting. The panel will include Economic Affairs Secretary Subhash Chandra Garg and RBI Deputy Governor N.S. Vishwanathan, Bharat Doshi and Sudhir Mankad, who are the members of the Central Board of the RBI, will be the other two members of the Expert Committee on Economic Capital Framework. The government has tightened norms for e-commerce firms like Flipkart and Amazon. The Ministry of Commerce and Industry has barred these firms from selling products of companies in which they have a stake. They have also been prohibited from entering into an agreement for exclusive sale of products. The e-commerce companies will have to file a certificate along with a report of statutory auditor to the RBI confirming the compliance of guidelines by 30th of September of every year for the preceding fiscal. These changes will come into effect from 1st of February next year. And Vice President Venkaiah Naidu has said that good governance and reforms must empower the last man in the queue. Addressing the gathering at the Champions of Change Award ceremony, Vice President Naidu said that people's cooperation is vital for the development of the nation. The Vice President said that for any development strategy to be effective, it should help achieve a broad-based economic growth to ensure balanced development. Congratulating the awardees, the Vice President said that the Champions of Change Awards was an endeavour to tell the world about positive developments in India. He added that it is crucial that the stories of people who toil for the betterment of their brethren be told again and again so as to inspire others. The Champions of Change Awards recognize the contributions of DMs, SPs, MPs, NGOs and individuals from across 115 districts across the country who have ushered in refreshing changes in their districts.
Development means development of all states, all regions, all districts, all tahsils, all people. Everybody should feel that he also got the fruits of development. Then only it will be the real development. India, we have 65% of the population below 35 years. But youth, they are aspirational. They want to see a new India. They want to see a strong India. They want to see a prosperous India. They want to see a happy India. That's why this reformation. And this reformation should happen at the grassroots level, and these are the people who have been identified and felicitated today. They brought the required changes.
India and Bhutan are working to reinvigorate their ties. Following a change of guard in Bhutan, newly elected Bhutanese Prime Minister Lothe Tshering will arrive in the national capital for a 3-day visit to India today. It will be his first foreign visit after becoming Prime Minister on the 7th of November this year. Akhilesh Suman brings us this report.
Bhutanese Prime Minister Lothe Tshering is arriving on Thursday on a 3-day visit to India. He will hold a summit meeting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday, where both leaders will review the bilateral relationship with a focus on containing terrorism, connectivity and trade. Talks will also center on the development partnership with emphasis on deepening ties in hydroelectricity.
Today, the canvas of India-Bhutan relations encompasses almost all areas of human endeavor. And over the years, this mutually beneficial cooperation has been anchored in cooperation, in very remarkable cooperation in the energy sector. This year, we certainly hope to commission one of the flagship projects, the 720 megawatt Mangdechu hydropower project, hopefully this month itself. And we are also working together on a number of ongoing and planned projects, which promises to ensure that our relationship in this sector continues in the future.
The visiting Prime Minister is also expected to call on President Ramnath Kovind, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu, External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley, Commerce and Industry Minister Suresh Prabhu, as well as New and Renewable Energy Minister R.K. Singh. The focus will be on escalating the mutual relationship to a new level, in keeping with popular aspirations about development in Bhutan. Both countries are in the 50th anniversary of their diplomatic engagement and have planned a host of programs to celebrate the occasion.
In addition to this, of course, we are interested in enhancing connectivity with Bhutan in its widest possible definition as a central pillar of our neighborhood first and Act East policy. And that also includes expanding trade and economic opportunities and forging knowledge partnerships with Bhutan. While the cooperation in conventional sectors such as education, health, information technology and skills development continues to grow,
Bhutan and India have been time-tested friends, which is why Lothe Tshering seems to have chosen India for his first visit abroad. He is the third elected Prime Minister of Bhutan after the country opted for democracy. A doctor by profession, his visit is expected to provide fresh impetus to the bilateral relationship.
India-Bhutan relationship is considered to be a model between the two neighboring countries. India is also trying that Bhutan should be enabled economically in such a way that it doesn't have to cede to any other countries for its development needs. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Sabha Television with camera person Junaid in Delhi.
International news now. US President Donald Trump on Wednesday made a surprise visit to the US troops in Iraq. Now, this was his first official trip to a conflict zone nearly 2 years into his presidency and days after announcing a pullout of American troops from neighboring Syria. Air Force One touched down at the Al-Assad Air Base of Baghdad after an overnight flight from Washington with the First Lady Melania Trump, a small group of aides and Secret Service agents and a pool of reporters. The White House said that they traveled there late on Christmas night to thank troops for their service, their success and their sacrifice. During his visit, Donald Trump addressed the troops defending his Syria withdrawal and also calling on other nations to contribute and defending his proposal for a wall along the U.S. southern border. Donald Trump has drawn fire from some in the United States military for not having visited U.S. troops in conflict zones since taking office in January 2017, particularly after he cancelled a trip to World War I cemetery in France last month due to rains. On his way home from Iraq, Donald Trump will also stop to visit troops at the Ramstein Air Base in Germany.
Our presence in Syria was not open-ended and was never intended to be permanent. 8 years ago, we went there for 3 months and we never left. But now we're doing it right. And we're going to finish it off.
Sports news now. The third test between India and Australia is underway at Melbourne, resuming their overnight score of 215 for 2. The Indian side started off well on the second day of the third test, with skipper Virat Kohli and Cheteshwar Pujara starting the day on play on day 2. Pujara is unbeaten on 106 runs along with Ajinkya Rahane at the crease, while Kohli lost his wicket to Mitchell Starc for 82 runs. India has so far scored 299 runs for the loss of 3 wickets. Earlier on day 1, India won the toss and elected to bat first. India was off to a steady start with a confident performance of 76 runs by debutant Mayank Agarwal, followed up by a solid work from Pujara as well as Kohli, who stitched together a 92-run stand for the third wicket at stumps on day 1. For Australia, Pat Cummins took both wickets of Agarwal and Hanuma Vihari at 8 runs. The 4-match series is levelled 1-1. And that's it from me and my team in this edition of Breakfast News. Thanks for watching. Have a lovely day ahead.